Welcome. My name is Bill Horrigan, VP of Sales and Marketing at Tribute Incorporated. Most of you that are watching this, I probably sold you the Tribute system. So what I'm about to do today is give you a brief overview of the TrulinX software system, which is our latest technology and our newest ERP system. I think you'll find it fascinating. I'm probably gonna do about a 45-minute to 1 hour overview, just to give you a good understanding of what it can do. And if you want a private presentation, please feel free to call, email either me, Jeff, at any point in time. I'd be more than welcome to do a webinar for you. This three-part series will consist of obviously me today doing the overview, and then a week from today, we will have Jeff Wade performing TrulinX Air, which is our wireless warehousing system, followed by Aldridge Solutions demonstrating the customer web portal, which will allow your customers to log into TrulinX and check stock, pay their bills, things of that nature. They also provide our business-to-business e-commerce solution as well. And then the week after that, we will have two other incredible strategic business partners, one being Rubber Tree, and they provide several products. They'll probably be showing their CRM and their business intelligence. And then after that, you'll have Informa, who provides our document imaging and our e-signature capturing, which is really a slick product as well. So we're gonna have an action-packed next couple of weeks. I think you're really gonna enjoy all this stuff. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna join live a special guest, Chuck Horanek from HCI Controls. He was a long Tribute customer, I believe 14 years. You'll be able to hear it here in a minute. And then he recently, in the last couple of years, switched over to TrulinX. So we're gonna jump into this while he's going live, as you can hear, and then when he's finished, I'll start doing my presentation. Thanks again for coming, and I'll see you here shortly. Thanks, bye.
Dawn came out, and she was with us for 2 days, I guess it was, and then we also had Nancy Baxter come out. So very familiar with Tribute, love them. We were on the Tribute software for 15 years. Then in 2014, we said, hey, this just isn't going to keep up with the technology of things we want to do. So we started doing our due diligence. We looked at P21, we looked at N4, and we talked about TrulinX a bit and spoke to a couple folks about it. And Matt Cook and I flew back and had a sit down with Bill and a couple other folks and took a look at it and got a demo there. And we made the decision for several reasons to stay with Tribute software on the TrulinX side, because one, the relationship we'd built with all those people, they were like family. If we had a problem, we knew we could call them and it'd get resolved. Excuse me. Plus the technology was still being developed for things that we wanted to do and would become a big part of our business. So in 2016, we went live on TrulinX, and I'll be right up front with you. ERP system changes are not fun. They are hell, but you got to look at the end road. Where do you want to be once it's implemented? We've spent about 3 years after the implementation dialing in things. We were able to do business and all of that stuff, but we wanted to get to a level where if we had, like we're having today, a hard time finding users to come in, do inside sales, operations, those kind of things, that the system would be able to be very easy to use. So one of the things we had done was we set up the purchasing cost accounting, where if you create a PO, it automatically prices the PO for you, so that you don't get a bunch of variances. Then once we completed that, we moved to the sales side and also set up our sales discounts. And so our customers at the top tier, which would be just your standard customer level discounts, would auto-populate. Then if there were OEMs or those kind of things, we broke them down to the customer types. So it's auto discount. It made it very easy for purchasing and for sales to do their jobs. Excuse me a sec. Over the last 2 years, we implemented the TrulinX Air, which has been a godsend. When I first got here, they didn't even have bin locations. And one of the stories that I use is the branch manager in our Yuba City office said, "Why would you waste your time setting up bin management?" And I said, "Well, if you set up bin management, it doesn't matter where you put the stuff, as long as you know where the bin's at." And I said, "What I'll do is I'll come in, I'll completely label, set up the computers so it's all done." And she had a couple of new folks come in that couldn't find anything. And once the pick tickets and that started printing out the bin locations, they knew exactly where they were. And Jan said, "Man, I never would have thought that this would do that for you." And so we had every branch, at the time it was 12 branches. We went through and labeled them, set them all up. And in the last couple of years now, TrulinX Air came out, and it's all wireless. It's beautiful because we can do item putaways, we can do item maintenance, we can do cycle counts. You can change bins, create bins. It's amazing because you don't have to go to your computer at all. And our guys were having to write it down on a piece of paper, run back to their computer, make any changes, go back to the bin with the label and put it on. Now it's all wireless. You do it internally. So that was our newest thing that we did. And we've also implemented with Altridge that Bill was talking about. We did set up our customer portal. Customers love that because they can go in and pay online directly. They can look at invoices, quotes, open orders, check all their deliveries and that just within minutes. That's been very successful for us. And there's a lot of partners that TrulinX works with. And as Bill said, best of class. And they're absolutely right. We work with Enlighten, and some of the folks work with Informa. These people are amazing. They support the product and work very closely with TrulinX with any new technology. So we've been on it now since 2016. We're continuing to find things that we do that can be made faster now that we're on TrulinX, which we probably wouldn't have been able to do on the Tribute software. And as Bill said, we're on the special interest groups. We're also on the cloud development group, which you guys can be part of. And I think that's one of the most important things you can do is be involved with the system and be part of those groups and PPAB and those types of things. I've been on PPAB, 15 years, I think now. So it's very, very important that you get your say in there and what's happening with the software, and these guys will make it happen. So I've babbled on enough here, and any questions?
I thank you, Chuck.
Hey, you're very welcome. Anytime.
And then can you see my screen still?
I can.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody can see it. But thank you for, I appreciate you, taking time out of your schedule to chat with everybody. At least gives people an idea of what to expect. I thought I paid you not to say how difficult it was to convert. No, just kidding. Yeah. But,
checks must be in the mail, right?
It is. It's already in its way. I ACH'd it. No. All right, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right. You guys take care. One last thing. Hydraulic Controls is always here to answer questions. We've helped a lot of other companies in the process. The latest one being Morel. If they have questions setting up, doing conversions, the IT team is here to help you. I've even had our trainer staff assist in some of that people didn't understand processes. And we told them what we do, and then they can take it from there. So we are available, and Bill and Jeff can give you our information and my contact number and everything if you want to get a hold of me.
Thank you, Chuck. I really do appreciate it.
All right. You guys have a good day.
You too, buddy. Take care. All right. So I hope you're getting ready to see the tribute to TrulinX webinar. I spent a little bit of time trying to make sure I can keep it concise. I was just looking at the how many customers are on it. And so we've got people from the East Coast all the way to Hawaii. So we got AFP all the way up to D&M out in Hawaii. So we've got a span of 5,000 miles between all of these customers that are online, which is kind of neat. So I really do appreciate it. So enough talking, let's get into it. So basically, you're looking at the main screen. This is all customizable. I won't get into that today, but you can customize this based on people's job flows. So your sales will have their own groups, purchasing, inventory control, and obviously you can customize it. And then you have your quick access buttons. Typically in your business, the average person uses 8 to 12 programs a day to do their job. Once they figure those out, they'll put them there, and it's just a matter of clicking a button. I'll talk a little bit about best practice as we go. I'll try to incorporate that, and hopefully you can get something out of it today. So basically, when the phone rings, I would assume every call that comes into your building should go into the system. You don't want people writing down on pads. It goes right in. If it's an inquiry, quote, or an order, it goes into one screen only, which is you click this button right here. And you're gonna figure out how to hide these controls here. Panel. You just move this around. So the nice thing is you can have multiple screens going. You'll see here right now, I've got 3 going, but you can have unlimited screens. You're not limited to the quick peek see and all that stuff. And again, we'll save that for another day. But so basically when the phone rings, you're going to be right here. And let's say Anheuser-Busch calls. And they're one in Columbus, Ohio. So you just double click on it. So it's sorting on the ship to versus the bill to like you have now. You don't need to use numbers either. Like now you're locked in to use the numbers. You can use, as you can see by the ship to, and I'll try to point out things as we go that are unique. Another important thing is inside outside sales should be putting their notes in the system. So this way if it pops up, we're all on the same page. So they talk with Bill versus Susie versus Ken. We're all talking about the same thing at the same time, or if they're calling different branches, you don't want inconsistencies within your business. It makes you look bad. I won't stop here, but this is all stuff pre-set up by this customer. There's quite a bit of customization by customer, and we can save that for another time. So basically, the first thing they're looking for is a 1/2-inch long nose coupler. And they said, hey, last time I bought it, the part was a CP17 something. So you can just type in part of the part. It'll go through and look for that CP17, and it does like a Yahoo Google search. So it's looking for those embedded characters. So I found it right away. In this case, you have the ability to set up template comments that pop up for certain workflow things, whether it's in shipping, it'll be a different set of instructions, and sales and accounting. So in this case, you can have pictures, drawings, and schematics while you're talking to the customer on the phone. It's a matter of 2 clicks of a button here and then here. So while I'm on the phone with the customer, I can bring this up and I can actually send it to them while we're speaking. You know, you're competing with against some very large companies these days. So we need to be more efficient at the way we service our customers. So these are the kind of things that would set you apart. You even have the ability to draw on these things before you send it and say, hey, we need to talk about these, you know, these threads here, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of neat that you can have this stuff at your fingertips, forward to the customer while you're talking online. And it will be a memorable experience for your customers. As soon as you hit in the quantity, it prices it up. If you notice, it puts in bold the price. Your eye is trained to go to that right away. So you can say $9.95, you got 7 in stock. And the customer says, hey, that's fantastic. They also want some fuel hose ferrules. So now I'm just going to type in a description. I'm going to type in fuel hose. If you notice, those words are embedded. It could be in the part number, the short description, the long description. So I find what I'm looking for. I double click it. This particular manufacturer provides some good information on their price updates that you can import. And then I need 2 of those. And then you can get the long description too, and I'll show you some better parts with that on it. You're selling engineered products. It's critical you have multi-level searches. So this customer wants a 10-ton, 10-inch stroke, single acting cylinder. So you can click that little binocular right there here and say, you know, just give me my cylinders. You know, I have almost 29,000 parts in my database. It came back and said, hey, you got a lot of cylinders. Well, I just want anything that's got 10 inches in it somewhere throughout it. And then it comes back, it narrows it down. At this point, It came back with some features and functionality that you can share with the customer to make sure you're selling the right thing. And then I put in the quantity, and it prices it up. And again, if there's any technical data that would come up here in the long description, you can look at that. The last example would be the customer part number. If you're selling to OEMs or some MROs and they have their own part number, this customer is looking for a hose replacement kit for their fermenter tank. And it's a 100 R4-1-44. So that came back, and that's their part number. This is our part number, and put in the quantity. And just like on Tribute, you have two quantities down here. So since this is a hose kit, you already have one of these pre-built on the shelf, and I can build 7 more based on available inventory. Also, we have a feature called item alias. You can disguise the parts, and we're in a very highly competitive environment. So I don't want them knowing the actual pieces parts. So in the description, I created a template. So I'm giving them generic descriptions, so they're not out shopping me or making it easier for them to go out and shop me. The customer says, hey, we're good, Bill. Let's go ahead and place that order. Another thing is on Tribute, if you've got a 30-line order, you got to tab through 5 screens. If you notice that the totals will be at the top of the screen along with your margin. So we got $502 on this order, putting $213 in the bank. You can quickly view your gross margins. I can fix them before I place this order. If you use Microsoft Word, it's as simple as clicking print preview. It allows you to see the quote before you send it out via email to make sure you didn't put anything on there you don't want them to see. And you can see what it looks like here. And again, you can put whatever you want. You notice this whole area down here is for you to customize. And then up here, you can see where the red is, and up here, the logo. So those are the areas you have capabilities to modify. Also, you can put in just a short description, long descriptions. You can customize that as well, but I'm just showing you some of the highlights here. And then all I do is hit send email, attach those pictures, drawings, schematics, off to the races I go. They called me back and said, Bill, I want to place the order. You click this little set of steps. So basically we'll convert this from an inquiry quote to an order. They say, hey, I want everything but that single acting cylinder. I'll call you back tomorrow. So just unclick the one you don't want. Click post. And then they give you a PO. And they wanted it yesterday. So you click here, you click yesterday. And then you don't want to delete that quote though, because you do have that one item on there you want to follow up on. So when I click OK, if they're not on credit hold, they want immediate shipment. The pick ticket / work order is just generated to the shop. And that will look like this. So it'll be a multi-page document. So the first one is the pick ticket. The second and third page is the work order. You can attach workflow. Trying to hire somebody today and get them to do their job. You need to break it down and make it simple. So on this particular assembly, I've got them set up for building power units, control panels, hoses, pumps, valves, cylinders, motors. You want to make it simple so they can't screw this up. And then it'll also tell you, if you're in the hose business, it'll tell you what reel to pull, because we have lock control. We can get into that when we have more time. So once again, you're generating multi documents, a pick ticket and the work order. When he or she is finished, they'll go out to a terminal out in the shop, and they will put in that to confirm they're finished. So the first thing they'll do is this internal fab work order. They're going to confirm that they completed that. And then, and it says who did it. You can pick from the list. And then you're going to, oh, it's asking me what hose reel it came from, because I've got multiple hose reels. And again, we can talk about that at another time. And then also you want to confirm the rest of those, what I pulled from inventory, those other components. And now this, we're fully integrated to UPS and FedEx and the Postal Service, and I'll show you that. What you're seeing here is UPS will pretend like I was connected. And we'll pretend like, so the system will populate this from the UPS system. You'll review it. If you want to hold it because you're waiting for inbound freight, you can click right here. If you want to generate a pro forma invoice, you can send that out. I can click OK. What happens is a couple of things I forgot to show you, that the system can generate sales acknowledgements. So when I updated that quote to an order, it would automatically email that order to the customer, which is kind of nice. So that went out the minute I updated the order. And what we did when I worked at BW Rogers is we gave them, I think it was an hour or two to respond. You can create your own template on there before they were liable for the order. But so I would set this up to go out on every order just to make sure that what they told you is accurate. In addition to that, when I updated when I said okay on that shipping confirmation, it also sent out an advanced shipping notification. So now when you confirm on the shipping confirmation screen, it emailed them the confirmation with all that information. Now, this is totally customizable by you. It's a blank screen. It's really cool. This is kind of the format, but you can just move things over. You can drag these, move these things over. You can change things around any way you want to, just by double clicking on them. I get this one prevented. It's my security, but you can, like I said, you can see what it looks like. But the nice thing is you can make it different. So the packing slip will print out automatically after I've confirmed that. The system's a little slow today. Oops. It's not on. Moving a little slow, bear with me here. So this would have spit out automatically this packing slip that's going to go in the box. Now, this particular customer wanted theirs barcoded. You do not have to turn that on. That is selectable by customer. And this is a big OEM. They want to scan everything. They receive it in. So when they open up the box, they just go boom, 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 and it's received in. You can see there's their part number and their items. So again, that's turned on and off by customer. And then you can auto invoice. So I can just click this button here and I've got it set to go now. So I just hit submit. I get this and hit OK, and then just invoice the customer. So you're able to invoice customer immediately, and this is what the invoice looks like that just got emailed to the customer. As you can see here, hide this little floating panel. There we go. So you can see here on the invoice, it's quite nice. It lays the items out. It's got your taxing authority breakdown, and your inbound, outbound freight, insurance and handling charges. So your invoice is already out the door. So that one is just a simple order that went through. Now I'm going to do an order where the wheels fall off the bus. This is probably more what you're interested in. So this order is an example of everything that could go wrong. So this is waste management, the garbage folks here in town. This is a live example. When I worked for BW, that we found out that waste management quickly would not pay their invoice if you didn't get a collect number or get a PO number. So it was imperative that A, we notified CSRs, and B, force the system to stop at those fields. So when you're setting up the system, it will stop at those fields. And so just want to make that clear, and it'll fill that stuff in. And then when you click OK, this is when it gets real fun. So on the major maintenance screens, an order entry screen, purchasing screen, work order, we give you we'll call it a sandbox screen, allows you to customize this tab. This is at the customer level, and this is at the order level. Waste management, for example, they had a specific requirement. They said, you need to do business with us. You have to report back to me at the end of the month, each buyer that called in, what credit card they used and what they bought, because they needed it for auditing purposes. So you can create user-defined fields and then quickly create a report that will access that data. And this is the actual report that we wrote for them. And this is what it got emailed to them at the end of the month, which is a breakdown of all the orders that came in, who the buyers were, and you can't see it, but the last 4 digits of the credit card are on that report right here. So the nice thing is, in the olden days, you'd have to pay us a lot of money to do this kind of stuff. Now you have the flexibility. And again, at the end of the order, it'll ask me how we did. So that's kind of exciting stuff, that you can customize a lot of the screens and add attributes, user-defined fields, and things of that nature. So you're probably negotiating price occasionally. This wonderful world we're living in. Customers looking for some of these Vitime backup sales for their gear pump. We sold them. You say 314. They said, "Are you kidding me? I can get those for motion for 250." So all you're going to do is you're going to click the pricing tab and hit the calculator button, just like you do now with your M feature. You'll see at 330, we have 46%. They want it for 250. If I change it to 250, my 46 goes to 29. So either that's acceptable or not. If you try to give it away, you can set it up where it will notify management, shoot them an email saying, "Hey, listen, their phone will ding. Bill Horrigan's trying to sell this below company margins, which is 17 and 90. We can't afford, my break even's about 17%, 18%. So we don't want to get in trouble. So I'm just going to go back and fix that. And if they come back and say, "Well, Chuck Rannick sold me this thing at $1, one click of a button will give you the last 9 years history." And you can say, "I'm sorry, that was 297, 330. And the cool thing about when you get to this environment is the capabilities are off the charts. So if they come back and say, "Listen, the reason being is I bought 1,000 of those O-rings. That's why I got a better deal," I'm pretty sure. All you do is go up to the quantity field, and there's a filter at the top of every field. If I click on that, as soon as I start typing in 1,000, it'll start looking for that invoice. So as soon as I typed in 1,000, it brought me back to that invoice. You can say, "No, it was 289. So that's available on all those headings, which is kind of neat. So you can find anything going back technically infinitely, but and find stuff within seconds while you're on the phone with the customer. So again, you have to be quick, efficient. We don't have that loyalty anymore. We don't have, we've got impatient people. So you need to be quick. Next thing you know, my favorite feature. 6 months ago, I bought a Roper series gear pump from you. I need another one. What's the part number? I have no idea. You're the distributor. You should know that. You have the technology. So all you do is click one button, often ordered. This will give you the last 12 months of everything they bought. I can go back infinitely. So I can put in 5 years, 6 years, whatever. But I'm going to scroll down. I found the pump. So I can either double click it or I can click select. It'll return it back to the screen. I can say, "Yeah, we've got one in stock. It'll be 383. They're like, "No, no, no, no. You sold me for 250 last time I bought this." Again, 2 clicks of a button. 1, 2. Nope, you paid 383. And that was on, that was just a couple weeks ago. So again, seconds. We don't have minutes. We only have a couple seconds to make those split decisions. So if you're selling filters, seals, O-rings, I'm trying to think gaskets, anything like that, a lot of stuff comes in standard packs quantity, especially the filter elements and things like that. There's a way to manage that. If I'm buying those in standard packs of 25 or 10 or 15, I don't want, or even 5. If I try to sell 3, it'll come back and say, "No, no, no, no. We're buying those in packs of 5. I do not want you breaking these boxes open because I'll never be able to sell those other 2, and I can't afford to be stuck with dead stock, overstock." So purchasing was notifying sales at this point that I don't want you doing that. That's kind of a neat little feature right there. I know you deal with this every day. I'm buying, they're saying to you, "I'm buying these AeroQuip quick couplers from GHX down in Texas, and their service is horrible. Can you help me out?" So you just say, "Give me the AeroQuip part number." And you just put that in. And if I'm a Gates distributor, it comes back with Gates. If I'm Parker, it brings back Parker. Eaton, Ryka, Manuli, whoever. So I suggest, Chuck made a comment that, and all of you know that are on the phone, you're probably using about 40% attribute. And Chuck was using 40% attribute probably, and his goal was to use 85% of the TrulinX, and that's why he spent 3 years fine tuning it. If you're going to make this investment, please set up this stuff. This is what will differentiate you over your competition. Think about that. You type in a Sun valve, brings back a Parker. You type in a oil dime pump, it brings back an Eaton pump, whatever. But that is worth its weight in gold setting that up. I know all my customers are phenomenal. You guys never lose a sale. I know if you're not, you're tracking it. But for those of you that might not be, please track it. You cannot grow the business unless you have KPIs, metrics. Can't fix it if you can't measure it. Remember that saying, right? So they're looking for a 3-way directional control valve. So I know part of the part and I found it. I need 2 of those ASAP. So what we've done is if there's a constraint on the system, it'll turn red. So you see that quantity available is red because your eye is trained to go to colors right away. So, so the first thing we were trained to do is to check and see if we have any in the building. And I quickly went through all my locations, and it shows me that I have none on hand, but also shows me my forecast. I'm already in the hole. So plan B would check substitutions, and I don't have any substitutions. And the customer said, you know what, Bill, it's not that important. Just get back to me on that. I'll call you back in a day or two. So quickly, click here, lost sale, and then the drop-down box. Again, you'll create your own. And once again, I've got a query written for that. So lost sale. And once again, that get that set up, and it'll print back the lost sale of those items for the day of the week, whatever parameters you've put in there. So it's just that simple. It really is. So take the time, set that up. Takes a couple minutes. I'll send you the query if you're interested, and off to the races. You gotta just change the database name, and you'll be good to go. I know all of you have overlap in your product lines. You're selling multiple brands of things, pumps, valves, cylinders, right? Again, I'm just going to use this particular item in my database. They need 5 of these ASAP. I don't have any. Again, I check all my branches. I look at my branch in Hawaii. I'm looking at my delivery trucks that are on the road. They don't have any. My service and repair area doesn't have any. And then so plan B would always go here. Again, sell what you got in the building. Do not cut POs if you don't have to. Again, sell what you got. These are the competitor. We sold 5 different brands of couplings. We say multiple brands of valves, multiple brands of pumps, right? So set those up. So you're selling something you have. Do not cut a PO if you don't have to. It's hard to get inventory. We know lead times are long. That fast, check stock, look at all the other locations, substitute it out, boom, off to the races I go. I know we all drop ship stuff on occasion. So they're looking for some 4-inch stainless steel tank truck flanges. And what I'm going to show you too, a big thing, you Tribute customers probably have the same part number set up 3 or 4 different ways with dashes, spaces, periods. That is a nightmare because it causes negative on hands. It causes screwed up average cost. I can go on for a half hour about that, how bad it is. If you watch the screen, that will never happen on TrulinX. When I click OK, it'll strip out all the logic. It'll come back and it'll say, no, this is the part. Very difficult to screw up and add a part a second time for the same type of part. When I click it, in this case, I've created a template on my dropship products. And so you can have this populate. You can have workflow instructions, again, of how to do things. If you got somebody new, it will walk them through the process. So in this case, it's just saying you need to click once, twice, 2 clicks of a button. I'm creating a drop ship to Dixon on this product. If their lead times are too long, it's just telling me right now it's 19 days to get it from Dixon. I can click this box here and it'll tell me anybody else that I buy that from. So I'm buying that obviously for some of my competitors, Motion, Command. Those are all the different Dixon locations that are that I'm purchasing from. But it gives you that visibility. So, but again, literally by clicking this, it'll create a mock PO, your world. It's called a plan PO in the TrulinX world. Same type of functionality. That's it. Literally click in a box, I'm done. There's no D lines, no S lines, no B lines, no P lines, all gone. 2008, economy went in the dumper. I know you all experienced it, except Mike in Hawaii, because he was on the beach with his pineapples and drinking his martinis. But so what we did is we added a feature. One of our customers came up with this idea to help customer service focus on our most profitable items. So if you type in a description of a 1/2-inch short shank, it goes through, pulls those out. If you activate this feature, it's called preferred items or core items. What this does is allow you to identify when you have overlapping product lines for a particular item, again, pumps, valves, cylinders. It gives your customer service people the visibility in to look at your primary suppliers. So my green are my primary, my black is my secondary, my red is my third. A lot of companies incentivize their salespeople inside, outside. to sell the green because I have returns, I get free freight, I get discounts, right? If they buy the red, most likely I cannot return it. I'm stuck with it. So if they screw up, I'm dinging their commission because I can't afford to be the bank for that sales guy or lady. So, so again, this just keeps them focused on the prize. And that's a kind of a slick feature right there. If you sell anything linear, hose, tubing, 80/20, IPS, any kind of aluminum extrusions, if it is expensive per foot, you should be activating this feature. If it's not, then I wouldn't be concerned about it. But yeah, I'm going to show you an example of hose. Customer needs 12 feet of hose ASAP. It tells me there's 1,114 feet of hose. That is impossible. The largest reel I've ever seen was 700 feet. So just to make sure that I have this, let's just up our game and say they're on 75 feet. In good faith, I want to make sure I have a piece long enough. So you just hit this go button, hit lot, and hit inquire. It will show me all the lengths of that hose. If you are in the hose business, in the tubing business, in the aluminum extrusion business, please make sure when you go to TrulinX, you turn this on. I can assist you with if you need some advice. So basically, you're probably saying, well, how does this work? You activate it on the inventory master screen. Time of receiving, it's going to pop up. It's going to ask you to key this information. You'll put the reel. You got multiple pieces on one reel. You'll say, oh, reel one with this piece, reel one with this piece. As you're cutting it off at the time of shipping confirmation, you saw that drop-down box. It'll say, okay, it'll make a suggestion on what reel to pick, but you're able to override it because you know the shop people are going to do what they want to do. So, but this will be able to tell you whether you had that piece or not, especially if you're getting down low. Again, if you're doing 80/20 aluminum extrusions, this stuff is expensive per foot. Now, this is sold in sticks of 20 feet, right? Or in this case, I've got multiple pieces. And again, you buy these in 20, you might buy these in 4-footers, different lengths. I have one 36-inch, 24 48 inches, and one 12-inch. So as you're making cuts from aluminum extrusion, you should be tracking that. Again, that stuff is expensive. You cannot afford scrap. If you've got, everybody has like a top 10 customer list, big customers, you have to service them effectively. So we've added a feature called reserved inventory. Now they want a 3,000 PSI 2-inch liquid filled gauge. So I have no idea. So, and I can't type, shows you my spelling. So if I put in gauge, I have 174 gauges. I don't have time to go through that. I went through everything that's got 3,000 PSI. Narrowed it down. And there's my 2.5-inch I look for. So this feature, what it allows you to do is reserve inventory for a customer. So what this is telling me is I've got 10 set aside for that company, 4 for that company. Depending on how the security is, I don't want people stealing this stuff. So I suggest you build in some checks and balances, but you can get to it if you need to. But I've got some, plus I got some in stock, but you can actually see who they're for if you want to by going to this overview button. And if you highlight over it, that little Easter egg there, it kind of gives you a breakdown that there's 15 on hand. In this case, I don't have any reserve right now. They're all off contract, and that's another discussion. But you can set up fixed contracts. It'll protect it for a certain period of time. You can run a report to say if they don't buy it by the end of the year, they're going to have to pay for it because I'm not sitting on this stuff. If you're not using Warehouse 2, you need to be shot. If you have product lines that are out there, I'm just dumbfounded that people don't use this tool. It is, in my opinion, inexpensive. The first transaction pays for it for the whole month. I kid you not. It's when I'm done, please take a look at Warehouse 2 online. This feature is pretty impressive. Basically, it's taking my inventory. Let's say I have $1 million in inventory. I can turn it into $100 million in inventory in a second by activating Warehouse 2. And these are fantastic partners of ours, the folks at Rubber Tree. So I need 3 and I don't have any. If I click this button right here, what it's doing is showing me all my branches. I don't have any, but down here shows me that folks in town, Motion, Omni, and McMaster Car have some on the shelf. Here's the phone number to call to validate that those quantities are there. I won't get into a lot of detail, but basically this is a service where you can buy and sell inventory to authorized distributors of your product lines. And I'm telling you, it is impressive. It's twofold. You can buy your inventory, and on the back end, we've got a really cool feature that a process that runs in the background at night. It looks at your FMDs. You set up a parameter saying, you know, I'm just going to use an example. If I got more than 2 times my FMD, I want you to send it out to the web portal, because I do not want dead excess overstock ever. So it'll send it out to the web portal in the morning, and it'll be available for sale. And again, I've been more than welcome to talk to you about that, or call Taryn at Rubber Tree. But phenomenal product. And oops, and oh, I meant to show you. So if I want to get this from Motion, could be a competitor down the street. I'm going to steal an order from them, and so I'm going to send my driver over there. See, it says create plan PO. Basically, what it's doing is a mock PO, the same principle. So this will send it to purchasing to review before I send my driver over to go get it. So just wanted to bring that up. Non-stock. We all sell these. Typically, it's about 40% of our business. Our goal was to get this down when I don't know if you guys know this, but there was 9 of us that went off site back in the early 2000s to develop best practice for your industries. Again, we only sell to a handful of industries, and that's all of you online. And the goal was to take Tribute, which is really a robust, phenomenal product, and it was way ahead of its time. And we looked at all of the steps involved and how we can make it more efficient, and took out all the steps, and that's how TrulinX got developed. So one of the big things was being able to do a non-stock item in less than 30 seconds. I can do it in about 20, 15 maybe. You'll all be able to do it that fast once you start practicing. So I'm looking for some Parker 3H4 wire braided 4,000 PSI hose. I looked it up, and the part number, and sell this in reels. If you notice, the button turns blue and it says add, so I just click the button, put in the quantity. I want a reel of each. I type in the description of what it is. I click OK. And it says follow the red bouncing ball. Your sales product code. This is your product code. I'm just going to type in Parker if it finds it. And again, there's a drop-down box for the beginners. And you can just start typing in the heading like any Windows product, and it'll take you right to that manufacturer. And then I looked up the price, and this was $2,079. And I'm going to get this from Parker. And if I type in the word Parker, you know, if you're a Parker distributor, you know how many divisions they have, which is right here. So you can sort this, and I'm going to quickly, you can go and sort these and post products division. And then all I got to do is multiplier. We got a multiplier of 0.65, and I'm done. So I entered a product, a non-stock on the fly. There was no end lines either that quickly. Again, I stumbled even a bit. So non-stocks are almost instantaneous. I hope none of you are still having the old mindset. You don't want salespeople entering those parts. I suggest you do. There's a report at the end of the day of all the parts that are entered on the fly. Just let somebody in purchasing or inventory management review that. Do not stop your salespeople from doing that, because you want to service the customer. We can fix it pretty quickly on the back end. If you got a branch, again, stock transfers, remote sourcing, same thing you have now, but just clicking here. Hawaii's got a couple, so I just click there. And the question is, do you want to direct ship it from Hawaii to Ohio, or which is I can do that, or just leave it the way it is, and it'll create a stock transfer, just transfer from Hawaii here. Simple as that. And we're doing it at a freebie there. You can set up, I just want to show you real quick how much information you can attach. I mean, basically it's infinite, but this is just an example of an item where I have the technical data, some additional items. You should be asking them if they want seal and tape if they buy these products. So I would put in pop-up boxes with that. So if I go to the item master screen again, these are all the different things that we had attached. So we had a picture like that. Again, you just come here. I've got that view. That, put the CAD drawing on there. And then one of the things that I encourage you to do is load the catalogs. Anytime you sell something, send them the whole freaking catalog, because this way they can buy more things from you if they got the catalog, right? So I strongly suggest you do that and just email it with the quote. This way they've got all that information, and they'll be better prepared when they call you. We also have special pricing agreements. Probably all of you are having to deal with that today. So it would automatically kick in if those are set up. And over here, you can just see here, SPA is available. It automatically triggered it when I click it. It'll show me, and then it changes to 285. But the system will automatically, once the SPA set up, that's a special pricing agreement if you don't have it, but it will automatically take that into account. But you can see it if you want to by clicking that button right there. Those materials, almost there. We're going to start off with just a hose assembly kit we built for somebody. And also different products I promised. Again, just again, keep it simple, give them a generic description. 3 things to identify. This is a bill of material. One is the inventory or the quantity available, like you have today. The second is the bill version or rev level, and then it checks the box here. So I showed you tabs 2, price negotiations, drop ships. Here is your bill of material screen. We call this the engineering view, straight line. Here's your parts list to make sure you have enough available. And the work order is, this is the coolest thing I'm telling you right now. You can modify a bill of material on the fly from the screen. I can add spring guard, I can add fire sleeve, I can do this, that. Right here on the fly, hit the button, rolls it up, and it will always retain its value, always go back to this, create a new revision level, just do a copy BOM, new rev level. It's amazing how fast you can do things, and I'll show that to you as we go. Excuse me. At any point in time, they say, hey, where am I at in this process? We're up to $4,400. You good? He said, yep, just hit create and to continue on. So you can go back at any point in time and look at that just by clicking that button. This is cool. We sold a lot of hydraulic oil. I didn't want to have a part number set up for every incremental quantity. So you can just create this bill version here. And we sold this in all these different, because we had landscapers, snow plowers, farmers. So we bought them in 55-gallon drums. We broke them down, but I have one part number with different revisions. Behind each one of these is a bill of material, but it keeps it simple for the newbie. So if you want to look at that, just go here and it'll show you the breakdown. And if you want to look at it more in depth, shows you the oil, the bottle, cap, 5 minutes of labor to do that. So that's how you can sell things with different increments. This is another cool feature. I'm looking for a 200 PSI working pressure hose. I'm going to key in those keywords. I found one that has that information in it. If you sell, again, you sell hose, I have to bore you with this if you don't, but you can sell it as coupled or non-coupled. We had a lot of customers that say, build it. I had a lot of customers say, you know what, just ship me the parts out to the field. I'll assemble it when it gets out in the field. So you can have it broke down either way. Here's a actual large hose kit. It's going to take a second because there's a lot of it, and I'll show you here. Our system allows you to have 9 levels deep. Space shuttle was built in 7, so I think you're good. A NASA scientist told me that when I was on his park and fly bus one day. So you can see here, this is the customer's part number. This is my burden. You know, I have got, I think it said it like 4%. And these are all the loose parts that would go into the box, and these are all the assemblies that went into that bigger assembly. You can see there's a lot. So you can have kits within kits within kits, and I'll show you that. The hose, those that use the hose, it is 10 times simpler now. So if you're a Parker distributor, you're going to type in Parker. I've got them all set up. They want this here. One is male, 6 female, and it's going to be 25-inch overall length, 3 seconds tops. Pulls it out, breaks it down, calculates the cut length, calculates the labor based on the length of the hose and the diameter of the fittings. Save that conversation for another day. I can build 10 of those. There's nobody on the planet that can do this faster, guaranteed. You can take it to the bank. So if you're in that business, you'd be a fool to ever leave our software, because there's some really cool stuff in here if you're not using these features. But that works for metal hose, Teflon hose. Just show you real quick. you sell metal hose, it's going to do a mega flex. How many braids, the alloy, single pitch, so you can do that. This also works for gauges, like we are a US gauge distributor, right? This is cool. So basically, can't type today. So US gauge, so when we sold a gauge, these are the questions that we asked the customer. So you could basically design this. So it would call out the part number, but the thing it does here is it creates consistency in the company and make sure we're all using the same format. We also did it for motors. So this happens to be a ball door motor. Again, ask the questions. I'll show you some other examples. Manifold assemblies. Here's a ball valve. You know, the first inlet was a 3/8 female, 1/4 inch female univalve end plating with a red handle. So when I click apply, it will automatically pull those parts out of inventory, figures out the labor. And when I click OK, it will roll it up, calculate the cost. It's 65 bucks that quickly. Last example, you can build things on the fly totally from scratch. I want a 3-inch stainless steel and you flex metal hose. It says it doesn't exist. Now I can do this really fast, but right, put in the description, click OK. It's a new BOM. I don't know the cost yet because this is a cost roll-up because I'm starting from scratch. It defaults to the parent. It's going to ask me where I'm building this. If I'm building, if I got a different location, I build it. It'll stop and ask me there, and that's all there is to it. And then what happens is it says, okay, now go to the work order button. So it created that part. Now it says just start adding the parts. So I need anything that's got some 3-inch stainless metal hose I'm looking for. And I'm lazy, so I don't like to type. And again, you can blow this up and start drilling down. Let's see, I gotta have some. So my parts are limited on this. I'll just pick something you can see. And you can just start adding parts as you go, right? And then if you want to add labor, just click the add labor button. If you know it, just start keying in. If not, there'll be a drop-down box of all the labor. And I have everything in here that you could think of that you're going to do, whether it's in the building, if you're building power units, AutoCAD labor, if you're got a machine shop, cutting to burn, consumables, drive time to install it. If you're doing wire harnesses for your power unit, you're doing belting, you got endless belt, engineering change fees, final approval, homing the barrel if you're doing cylinder repairs, pump repairs, inspection, unlacing the belt, machining time, and then polishing, pocket grind. Again, you have it all out there. So in this case, just want to put some assembly time in there, and I can do it by hours, minutes, seconds. I'm just going to say half hour. So when I'm done, I just hit this button here. It's going to roll it up. There's no margin yet because it's going to kick back. Stops here. It says put in a selling price. I have $110. How much money you want to make? I want to make 50% gross margin. I need to sell it 221. I'm going to round it up. Around make it 220. I'm going to round it down. Sorry, 220. I'm still making good money. I entered a bill of material on the fly from scratch. It had no part number. Boom, just like that. Last thing, your power unit. It's asking me how I want to do the pricing. So I'll come back here too. It said, hey, do you want to create a permanent bill of material? That's kind of a cool feature too. It stops back and says, listen, if you think you're going to sell it again, check that box and it'll create a permanent BOM. I always want to go off the list price that I just created. And then on a power unit, and this is a couple hour time on this, but I'll just show you some of the cool stuff. So I have multiple rev levels. I built it multiple times. Each one of these had a different CAD drawing attached to it. I'll show you that. And then for this particular power unit, let's say they send a engineering change in with some CAD drawings, some modifications. This is the original one. So that would be your 3D drawing. And then I've got CAD drawings for all the componentry. I got pictures. I've got, I'm trying to think what else I got. I got, you name it. So the thing is, take pictures with your phone of all the components, the final assemblies. This way, if they call back, there's my manifold. This way, if they call back in the future, and there's my final unit. So it's important that you track all that stuff and attach everything to it. So that's a power unit. So that's an order with every kind of scenario that's possible to mankind I'm aware of. Let's see. There's the quote. It's a multi-page quote. Cool thing is, in this environment, I can search and say, give me anything that's got green in it or 200 PSI, right? It'll go to that page because there's multiple pages seeing I found it. So you can blow this up, right? If you're blind like me. So you can next through pages. There's all kinds of fun stuff. The coolest thing is that they say, listen, I want it in Excel. I want it in HTML. I want it in a PDF. We can convert any report that's generated to the screen can be converted within seconds to any one of those documents by clicking this box right here. CSV, PDFs, I want to convert this into a PDF. So let's quote my desktop so I can find it. Whoops. So I'm just going to show you can do that, and it converts it, and that quickly it's in a PDF I can send to them. So there's all kinds of flexibility there. And that's that. So I only got 11 more minutes. So I'm going to counter order walk-in business. If you're a counter, you're going to have this is going to be sitting like this at the counter. It is simple, easy to use. They put a lot of time and effort into this. Very impressive. So this is how I'll be sitting. So I walk up to the counter. I ask them, it defaults to cash. This is ODOT, Department of Transportation. All their different districts. He said he's Department 12. This is a live example. Each of their folks out on the road has only authorization up to $250 on their credit card. And then it requires me to put their phone number in and their name. And then they said I was in yesterday, and a friggin' Jeff Weight loser doesn't know what he's doing. I need to return these. So he put in a -2. It shows you the last transaction when he was in here. It brings up the whole order from yesterday. I'm going to return those, and I'm going to sell them the right ones. And then they're also looking for some bandit clamps. They throw those down on the counter, and they need some Brennan fittings. Again, I type it in dashes. So you don't have to do that anymore. And if they get, wait a minute, how much are those Brennan fittings? You say 350. Like, no. Motion, $2. Right click. Because again, if they walk behind the counter, you want them seeing cost, margin, right click, hit change price. Those same features you saw on the phone order are hidden here. And again, they want it for $2. I can't do it. I'm not going to make any money. The best I'm going to do is $265. It'll turn red too if you fall below margins. And, again, hose assemblies, right click, smart part. Once you learn the codes, you'll just punch these things in, or you can do the drop down box. Again, 3 to 5 seconds on a hose assembly, done. Now if they say, oh, wait a minute, I need you to go back. I need you to put spring guard on that, or fire sleeve, just right click, components. Type in fire sleeve. Just sort this by what I got in stock, or you can sort by description. And I need, let's say if you do that, whatever it is, and then we're done. And it rolls it up and changes the price automatically and says now it's 113, not 98. It also allows you to sell stuff you don't have, which is kind of cool. They said, hey, listen, I need some worm drive clamps and some DevCon putty. Do you have it? Say, sure. Let's check into it. Worm drive. This is a cool feature. If it turns yellow and black, it says, listen, they are behind me, but you are not allowed to take them because those are committed for somebody else's orders. It could be my biggest OEM. I would say 50% of my customers allow them to take it, cash in hand, sell it. The other 50% of the owners say, you know what? No. you're not going to screw with my big customers. But if you want them to see it so I can run down and talk to Chuck about it, you just hit the go button, hit open orders. And these are for that part. These are all the people that we've committed those for. So that quickly you can see those. Now, if this happens, they ask for some of this DevCon putty. Turns red, it's notifying you immediately that, listen, there is none in the building. You let the customer know, just click back order, because they still want these. It'll show you what the price is for what they're taking, what they're back ordered. It'll generate, if you wanted to, this work order. It's kind of cool. How to build the assembly, what the cut length is, all that good stuff. And the customer said, hey, I need to get out of here, hurry up. So you hit payments, and they want to pay with their credit card. So if they were in before, I can check. And I was in before. So I hit scan, I scan the card, and this is another partner of ours, WEX, 3 Delta Systems. This is slick as pie, it's fully integrated. And so is Informa, document, e-signature. That watch this will blow your mind. So I said, we're good. It returns the authorization number. Again, this is, and then when I go hit checkout, this is our folks at Informa. Check this out. You can't see my pad, but I got a signature pad here. So I'm going to sign my name at the counter. So now we'll have a POD, proof of delivery. I hit accept. It is now printing out a customer receipt right at the counter. It is really impressive. And it says it created a back order and a purchase order automatically from the counter. Think about that. Entered an order, did a credit, did some assemblies, paid by check, cash, or credit card on account. They accepted the credit card, generated a receipt, which looks like this. And it would spit out, it looks like this. Again, it would print, obviously I don't have a printer, but this is what it was. I'm telling you, there's nothing out there like it in the industry for the counter. Check that out. Tells them what they're taking, what they paid for, the breakdown of their taxing. Accounting loves that. Tells them what they didn't get. Shows me the credit card, the signature, the approval, and the signature capturing. Again, this is when you're working with world-class partners. I'm telling you, what they did with this Informa is amazing. It's extremely reasonable. If you don't have it, you need to get it, because this is just, and the last thing, and then I got to wrap this up here soon. End of the day, we had, unfortunately, during the summer, we had higher college kids, and sometimes they would pocket the money, they'd void tickets put in the pocket. So there's a day-end reconciliation report. It'll catch, if they voided anything, if it'll show you all the transactions at the counter. So the first page, it's kind of cool. It's got a little pie chart. So there were 6 cash transactions. There'll be that much in the drawer. 1 on account, 15 credit cards that would list all the credit cards. Gives you kind of a percentage. You can get an idea of what's coming in over the counter. And then the next page would be all the detail, who bought what. So I did 10,000 at the counter today. We had a good day. So the counter system is just amazing and powerful and fast. And the last thing is a repair order. And then I got to let you guys get back to work. But if you do any kinds of service and repair at all, this is so slick. Send your checks and money orders when we're done here to the Bill Horrigan Bahama Fund. So it's just requiring a PO because they're required, this customer. So we added this thing here. I'm going to do a cylinder repair real quick. Customer drops it off or ships it back to me. So I click here and I type in the word cylinder. And the first thing it says, now we repaired anybody's cylinder. So let's say they dropped off. Now as a Parker distributor, but we served. We're gonna fix this Eaton cylinder. It was an N5 series, one of their new ones. I click apply and I click OK, and it says this is a new part. We don't have to create a new part every time. And there's already one exists. So let me go back and create another one so I can make it unique. So that's what I get for playing around with this earlier. Eaton, and I'm going to do an N6 series. Apply, create. It says it doesn't exist. And I put in the quantity, click OK. And it's asking for a serial number. So this way, if you're doing preventive maintenance, it was important that we tracked the serial number off that unit, and we made it, we ran reports off this stuff. So I'm gonna put the serial number in if we can read it. And then what we would do is we would send them, we charge them a half-hour teardown time. So we send this legal document. I can share with you this these formats. If you ever repaired anything, you better have this legalese on there. You're going to get sued one of these days. So basically, it says if you don't come back, I've got a lot of people that repair pumps and valves and cylinders, and somebody will fix it and won't come back for 6 months or a year. We'll trash it and they'll come back and call you and say that was my asset. I'm suing you. Blah blah blah. This just says you got 60 days to come back and get it, or it's mine. And then what will happen is they sign off on that repair, and then it will generate a two-part document. I've got it set up. I'll show you what it looks like. It's kind of hard without. So the second page that goes out to the shop will have a teardown sheet. So this is everything that can go wrong with the cylinder. I've got one for each of the different products that we fixed. So that would go out to the shop, right? First and second page goes in a plastic sleeve, twisty tie to the product. They go tear it down. They write down on here comes either the tech can go to the screen and do it, or it comes to the shop foreman or somebody else. So they'll open it back up. They double click on it. When they're done, they click the work order button, hit work order. You see how it added shop supplies inspection and burden automatically? I didn't do that. You can wire it in so it charges those. You want true profitability, right? Those are costs that you're gonna have to deal with, and you better be including those in your estimates. The shaft seal was shot. I can't even say that. The shaft seal was shot. I've been out there 30 years. I know the part for that one. And then the rod scrapers, Brad, I have no idea what even that is. Actually, we have one of those, surprisingly. And then I need a bunch of nuts because they were a bunch of missing. About 6 of those. And then I think I'm done. I can add non-stock parts. I can do all that stuff you saw me do earlier. That's assembly time. It's going to take me about half hour to do that. And then I want to polish and hone the barrel. That's going to take me, and then I'm going to polish it. And if you know them, you can just key them into it. You don't have to. And then when I'm done, we're going to send this back to the customer, and it says, hey, just to warn you, you've done something similar to this for this folks last time, and you quote them $61.90. They will not be happy, but prices have gone up. Labor, this could be 5 years ago. They're looking at about $186.29. Boom, boom, boom. It does it automatically. Let me see what kind of margins that we made on them last time. Yeah, we're going to lose money now, so I got to mark it up even more just to keep up with labor costs. And so they send them this off. I'm probably going to send this out to them with a repair, this one and a new. I wanted to stop at 3:15 because I've got another one, a demo at 3:30. That is the excitement for today. I wanted to hit like the highlights. If you have any questions or of interest, I would love to spend more time showing you this. I appreciate you guys taking your time. I hope you felt it was worth your time. But if you're a Tribute customer, I strongly encourage you to dive a little deeper into this. You're more than welcome to come to your facility, as I did when I sold you the first system, and show it to you in detail. And the ROI is unbelievable. Typically, a Tribute customer sees about a 1.5 to 6% increase on their bottom line and gross margin, and that's through a lot of the stuff I talked about. But I can document that during the demo and show you where all that comes from. So if you got more questions or comments, those are my girls, just email me at bill.horrigan@tribute.com, and I'll get back to you. Thank you once again for all your time, and I hope to hear from you guys. So enjoy your day, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.